But most importantly, Michael Thompson passed away
this morning,
and
actually.
It was this morning?
Yep. Yeah. This morning,
shoot.
I think 8 a.m. or something this morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was yesterday.
No, I mean, I put it up.
Yeah.
I wanted him to be able to read his obits.
Right. I read that in your piece. Okay. So this actually, when I was talking earlier about money and whether it makes you happy or not, it was really kind of thinking about the Michael Thompson story of like, pursuing your life's passions and just living recklessly, throwing caution to the wind, Michael Thompson probably burned through fortunes, right? Yeah. Both for brands and probably personally. Or taking the more measured path and like having security, but then also, foregoing good times, short-lived spikes in, I don't know, thrill, let's say. So Matt Warshaw said of Michael Thompson, he'll be remembered in 3 parts: fearlessly charging pipeline, gotcha, and cocaine. Those will be his legacy. You said Michael Thompson will be remembered singularly for never, not ever, pulling a punch. Stories of his generosity, his not yet fully appreciated writing, his fashion anarchy, his ability to pipeline will certainly flow, and I have no doubt when the dust settles, he will be carved into surfing's Mount Rushmore between Duke Kahanamoku and a pack of Laird Hamilton's superfood coffee creamer. But until then, pour out one for an icon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you know about Michael Thompson? What was your time with him?
I mean, Michael Thompson's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, hands down personality in all of this wild little surf world. I met him for the first time a long time ago. I think I was doing something with Jamie O'Brien back in the day, and Michael was, I think, a consultant at that point at the La Jolla Group, which Jamie was surfing for Rusty, I think, and yeah, whatever. So I met Michael there, and but of course Michael's reputation had preceded him, and I was just in awe meeting him. And then through the years, I've chatted with him or interviewed with him and hung out with him a handful of times. And he was just great. I mean, he was exactly what I wanted my surf hero to be. Cause he's really an anti-hero in so many ways. He, like you said about, burning through fortunes or even his health at the end, right? Like the way he chose to live, he just didn't pull a punch. He did what he wanted to do. And, I was talking to a great designer, or one of the old designers at Gotcha, who said, in that story I wrote about it too, he was looking for some of the early Gotcha stuff and found one where it was just, the tagline was "to hell with the consequences." And it's one thing to say it. And Michael, I think, lived it his entire life. And of course, easy to criticize, right? You can always say, well, he should have taken better care of himself, or he should have done this, or he should have done that. There's something refreshing about a man who just, he just didn't pull it. There was no half step. He just went all in, and that was it.
There is something refreshing about it, and there's something enviable about it, because so many of us compromise the things we want to do for what our responsibilities are. And so to see somebody who lives the way that they want to live is enviable.
Yeah.
You get jealous of it a little bit. And oftentimes those people actually always land on their feet. And it's like, yeah, they burn through a fortune, and then suddenly they strike rich on another idea and they have a fortune again. And you go, what the heck?
And I mean, even with MT, I mean, I think it's, people and friends, I think, are sad that he didn't take better care of himself, especially at the end. Like, he had cancer, I don't know, forever ago. Nobody knows what his treatment was, if he was doing any treatment or anything. Right. And I mean, I think that, I don't know, there's real sorrow around the MT thing also, but I don't know, not like cautionary sorrow. I just feel like the surf world is poorer today than it was, last week.
Yeah, but it's also richer because he was here.
For sure.
That's the thing and so you have to analyze that trade-off. Did
you ever chat with MT?
Never.
Oh, no. Man, yeah.
No, I liked that interview you guys did on Beach Grit. I was really hoping that was going to become a series.
Yeah.
Like Bitchin'.
It was. We
did one with Gurr.
Yeah, we had like 4 or 5 of them.
Who else?
It was Gurr, Thompson,
I only remember those.
Biolas, I think, with the I think with like the volume thing for a surfboard, finding the volume out or whatever. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think maybe there was only 3.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a great kind of look at where his life was in that moment, as opposed to all of the older stuff that we always kind of see regurgitated. So the one question I have, so that analyzing that thing of like living your life recklessly.
Sure.
I would like to know, did he maintain long-term relationships? Like if you have a long list of like divorces and kids who don't talk to you, then I would have to argue against that type of a lifestyle. But is there a way to do it where now your kids love you as the fun-loving dad and they got to go on adventures with?
I know he has a son, and I think they, from what I understand, there was a breakdown in the relationship, but they got back together at the end.
Which, by the way, lots of people who live their lives on the straight and narrow also have that breakdown with their parents.
Of course.
More than not, actually, you know? That pesky fly. It's crazy. The coincidence. So like Richard Branson looks like a guy who's living as reckless of a life as Michael Thompson, except he still has a huge net worth and kids that love him in a 30 or 40 year marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I think there is a way to pull it off.
I mean, and Michael had a long time girlfriend. I mean, ever since I've known him.
Yeah.
So at least I knew him, I think probably, I don't know, 13 or 14 years. Wow, so at least that long. Yeah.
The other question I have, aside from the relationship thing, is suffering in the end. So if the life decisions that you made lead to long-term suffering, and in this case in the form of cancer, and we see it actually lots of times in the form of cancer, then that would be an argument against it as well.
Of course. I mean, there's plenty of arguments for Michael Thompson. The life that Michael Thompson chose to live is neither healthy nor, enviable. But in Cocaine and Surfing, I wrote that I need Michael Thompson to be Michael Thompson because I'm too much of a chicken to be Michael Thompson, more or less. Like he, as this lion, I don't know. There's just something about him. There was something about him that, continues to captivate me, that I really, truly love. And as sort of, eulogies come in and whatnot. And of course, this is a small surf world, but I for sure want to try to stamp as hard as I can that Michael Thompson is not a cautionary tale. Michael Thompson is an icon who lived as big as he possibly, he lived a life that we're all sort of, or many of us dream about, but are too chicken to go all the way in anything. Agreed. Not just with drugs or with all of that stuff, just anything, right? Like all of us have our beliefs and live up to the point of being kind of comfortable, but then just lives of compromise. I mean, that's how people live. And I just never got the feeling that Michael Thompson compromised ever.
So I fully agree. And so he is that lion out there, and we can actually pull pieces from it that's why I'm asking you all these questions, is like, which parts can we apply to our lives and live without having to risk?
Part of the huge thing, I think, that of his legacy is his generosity. Like all of his friends talk about it. He would walk in with a jacket, a $3,000 jacket on. And if you said, "Oh, I like that jacket," he was, "Oh, cool, here," and just give it to you. Amazing. Like that kind of selfless generosity, which I think probably busted him down at the end too, in terms of just always giving. That's great.
It really is amazing. Back to Clooney.
Yeah.
There was a story about Clooney that I'm pretty sure is true, because I forget who I heard it from, but it was like verified. After he really struck it rich, I think it was after he sold the tequila label. Okay. So not that long ago, 5 or 6 years ago, and he always had like money, but then he had like tons of money at that point. He held a dinner party for 15 friends from like that he's known for a long period of time. Friends from college and his youth and all that sort of stuff. Dinner party. Each of them left the party with a briefcase with $1 million cash.
That's pretty awesome. See?
So they just went to dinner with their buddy Clooney and like celebrating the good times. Hey, congratulations on your big sale of your tequila brand.
Came home with $1 million each.
Walked out with $1 million.
That is awesome. See? That's awesome.
How crazy
Love
is
it.
that?
Love it.
I know. So I was thinking of who, following Michael Thompson, like who's exited at the exact right time where they lived that rugged, reckless lifestyle, partied it up, have all of those great experiences and memories, and then shifted into a clean life where they were able to capture all the returns.
I feel so many people do that, right? I feel that's the typical narrative, I think, of you rip one and then you grow up and you stabilize, right?
Who ripped the biggest one and then stabilized the hardest?
What about like Mick Jagger?
Ooh, I was going with another Mick just to throw it back in your face. Yeah.
But Mick Fanning, his crazy wasn't ever that. He was just like a drunken bogan.
How do we know?
Well,
I think he could have got way more wild than we even know.
Well, for sure. But he wasn't like throwing gotcha style parties. I mean, what Michael Thompson did was legendary.
Right.
Like Mick Fanning was not to that level.
But he did party.
He partied pretty
good. He was
good.
known for partying. Like that was what
drunk.
he was known for. And then he won 3 world titles after the fact.
Sure.
And now is settled down with a kid and lives a pristine lifestyle where all of the youth in Australia like venerate him as the exemplar of morality and discipline and all that.
I'm not going to be able to give it to you just because I don't think that being a drunken bogan is a heavy, like he would have had to.
He was an average Australian.
Exactly.
That, yeah.
He lived a Gold Coast Australian life and then stopped living that Gold Coast Australian life.
What if we find out he has like 8 kids from that era out of wedlock and like a criminal?
Then I would reintroduce him. Okay. Yeah.
You mentioned Mick Jagger. Eddie Van Halen also passed away.
Yeah.
Sammy Hagar said, a listener of the show, texted me because he had read Sammy Hagar's autobiography, which is funny to me. But he said he said that Sammy Hagar said that in the book, so not post-mortem, but actually maybe this was a quote post-mortem, but he said, though he was a heavy smoker for years and he used to chug Carlo and Rossi jugs of wine, he believes that Van Halen developed throat cancer from a metal guitar pick that he used to frequently hold in his mouth 20 years ago.
I remember reading that the metal guitar pick was what caused it. Or that's the narrative. It's really funny.
How funny is that?
Very
the guy
funny.
like lived the hardest lifestyle of chain smoking and doing everything terrible.
Carlo
but no,
Rossi.
it's this metal guitar pick that I have in my mouth, which actually could be true.
For sure.
You know?
Never know.
Yeah. How funny too that, I guess cancer is never funny.
Yeah.
But Michael Douglas said that he got throat cancer from providing oral on too many women over the years.
That's a standard.
Because
it's the PP or the whatever that PPV.
Human papilloma virus.
that one.
HPV
is what causes throat cancer, I think.
So if a chick has the bad HPV, I think there's multiple HPVs.
Yeah.
And then you go and expose yourself orally, you can get throat cancer from it.
Yep.
Which is a baller move.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to get throat cancer, be like, hey, ate out too many chicks.
From Michael Douglas to just claim it too.
I know.
Problem. Like he was not shy.
He put his hand up. He's like, hey, I have throat cancer from this.
He didn't need,
and his wife's standing there going, what are you going to do?
What are you gonna Catherine Zeta.
Exactly.